Hi, I'm the editor of Harper's Bazaar, and thanks for joining us today. I have the great pleasure of having Alexa on my October issue cover, and she's actually just spotted it for the first time and has a photo next to her big face.
It was a before and after airbrushing shot.
But I thought I'd ask you a little bit about that, because we shot it in Paris with a very different of yours, Angelo. And could you tell us something about the shoot?
Yeah, so it's in this beautiful chateau, basically in the middle of Paris, on like the sunniest day ever. And as I say, Angelo's a good friend of mine, and also his assistant Guy. He's actually my best friend's boyfriend, so it was quite awkward to pretend sexy in front of those two people. And we had to keep stopping between shots and being like, oh, check it out, and then reversing to the sexy looks. But yeah, it was really fun, and we were shooting the Chanel collection, so from the resort, I think.
Yeah, the cruise collection.
So that was all kind of 80s pound type things.
And obviously that's a pretty good gig for you. I mean, we always see you kind of front row at the Chanel shows and obviously other shows. Yeah. You know, what's life like getting on and off the plane, attending fashion shows?
I don't know, yeah, I mean, for me, all I know is I work really hard most of the day, so I'm doing a lot of TV, so that's kind of playtime. I get to, attend different fashion things. But it's not like the main thing that I do, so it's more like a treat. So yeah, I still never kind of can believe it's real. I think that particular Chanel show was in kept on TV, and it was just so stunning, the whole Eden Rock was just gorgeous. So yeah, it's kind of, I have to pinch myself a lot and not get overwhelmed by the situation.
And you said in your interview with us that it's about what you wear.
I try not to think about it just because it would send me insane. And when at the beginning of that whole thing, it did sort of get to me, and I was like, oh, I need to try and make an effort. But then you realise real life is probably more important. And although I'm obsessed with clothes and obsessed with fashion, I try not to let it dictate what I'm doing every day. And I don't know. I think when I started thinking about it, I started dressing really weird. So then I was like, oh, I'll just wear what's comfortable again. But I do think the whole rise of the blogger is such an interesting phase in modern times, because it's, you know, I grew up in the middle of the countryside. I would have loved to have been more involved in fashion. So I think it's brilliant now that young women get to sort of feel part of the fashion industry. And I think it's really sweet that they're taking pictures of their outfits and then, you know, getting like people like Tavi or Susie Bubbles. Yeah. I just think it's really cool that they're sort of celebrities now. It's brilliant.
And have you ever found a really odd blog about you?
I try not to look. I sort of nosedived into Googling myself when I first sort of started being written about. So I was like, this is not weird, they're writing about me. And I was like, oh, they're just saying very bitchy things. I'll try not to look anymore. So I'm not really sure what's written about me anymore, because it's sort of weird. No human should have to think about themselves that much. It makes you very vain and sort of, paranoid. So now I just try
and you're living in New York now. Can you
Yes.
tell us about your show and what you've got coming up there?
So I'm doing a show for Lifetime over there, which is basically about fashion. It's kind of a fashion reality show. And I've got some amazing people involved, like Derek Blasberg and PR man James and the Force, and the designer Cynthia Rowley. So it's sort of celebration of the fashion industry. But yeah, I moved there a month ago and started work 2 days afterwards. So currently it's a weird situation. I don't have any furniture in my house. Fine.
Do you have any food either?
Sometimes there's food there. I allow that in now. It's good.
I actually saw on your Twitter, because Derek obviously writes for Harper's Bazaar as well, that he'd been twittering that he had to move out of his apartment in New York.
Yeah, he got evacuated during the hurricane.
But you made it out just in time?
I did. I nipped out there on a Friday night and changed my flight. So,
Thank goodness. Otherwise we wouldn't have had a guest.
Bloody irony. Yeah, she was trying to F with your programme there.
And I also saw on your Twitter that you're a big fan of Triple J and some of
Love me some Triple J.
I know.
They were talking about how at primary school when you have to go, good morning, Mrs. Martin. And I was like, oh, these guys, they're funny. That's the kind of radio I've been listening to in the car.
And are you familiar with the sort of Aussie music scene at all?
I love Tame Impala, are friends of mine. I think they're brilliant. I went to see them at Rough Trade East in London, like a proper groupie, and then it was like, do you want to go bowling? And they're like, I didn't realise you were famous. It's really weird. But they're really good, and Katie Elephant, really good. There's some great Aussie bands. I'm I've called a blank now, but yeah.
And fashion, I saw you've been out to dinner with your friends from Lover.
Yes.
You're obviously wearing a business grade in fashion.
Yeah, I love Lover's one of my favourite brands anyway. Also Antipodean.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jeffrey was one of the first designers to actually lend me clothes because everyone was a bit sniffy at the beginning. Like a TV presenter, probably not. But he was like, yeah, you can borrow that if you want. I was like, thanks, Jeffrey. So he's really good. And then yesterday I discovered a new one called Dion Lee.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to borrow it for tomorrow night. But yeah, beautiful design, really, really nice.
And you said that you'd had a few problems packing coming here.
Alexa Chung's an interesting name. Could you tell us more about your ethnicity?
About more, sorry?
Could you tell us more about your ethnicity?
Ethnicity, yes. So my father is 3/4 Chinese. His mum was half Chinese, half Welsh, and then his dad's Chinese, and then my mother's English as they come. So yeah, I'm a mix of those things.
Okay. Do you speak any other languages other than English?
A little bit of French, but not really. Embarrassingly kind of inept at speaking other languages. That's about it, yeah. No Chinese, I'm afraid.